Hello Gryphons and welcome back. Today we're going to be working on something that we hope will really help you out in the kitchen, knife skills. Okay guys, one of the first things you need to do is set up your cutting board properly, right? So we're going to take a damp cloth and we're going to put that down on the counter first. What this is going to do is help keep your board stable. It's not going to move around, slip. It's going to help with safety really, right? So wet cloth. Cutting board down on top, and it doesn't move around, okay? Next we're going to take our nice sharp knife. You don't need to steal your knife, it's just something that we like to do. It helps keep the edge nice and true and sharp and ensure that your vegetable cuts are nice and clean, and also it's actually safer. A sharp knife is safer than a dull knife. It's going to actually cut through the product with precision. And then if you do actually cut yourself, it's going to be a nice clean cut instead of something jagged like Grandma's butter knife. So we've got a selection of vegetables. We've got broccoli and cauliflower, carrots, cucumbers, just a lot of stuff that you might have in your fridge. So we're going to go through a couple different cuts for everything, and hopefully this will help speed up the cooking process and bring a little bit more enjoyment to cooking for you. Okay, we're going to start off with an onion. Onions are very versatile. They add a lot of flavor into anything that you are cooking. So here we go, we have a nice big sweet onion. So I'm just going to take off just a little bit off the root, off the stem end. I'm going to flip it over, and right here is the root end. And we're just going to take off just as little as possible, right? So by doing that, and just leaving as much of the root intact, when we go to start our next cuts, the onion itself is going to hold together, and it's going to be a lot safer. It's not going to slip around on you as much. The next step should be to cut the onion in half. Now from this position here, there's a bunch of different cuts that you can do. So today we're going to do a slice and a dice. So for this first cut of the onion, we're going to slice it. So like I said, we need to keep the root intact to keep it together. First thing I'm going to do, of course, is cut it off. I know. So now we've got the onion, no root, no stem, and it's just like this. Now if you look at the onion, you're going to see a whole bunch of lines going up and down the onion as it grows. Those are perfect lines for you to cut on. So we're going to slice. So if we go and start slicing straight down, we're going to wind up with big flat cuts on either edge. So we're going to take our knife and at a 45-degree angle, slowly start cutting into the onion. As we get probably about a third of the way through, we're going to straighten our knife, so we're going straight down to continue the cuts. And once we get to the final third or quarter of the onion, we're going to take it and we're just going to plop it down like that. And that's going to make it nice and stable, nice and safe. If the onion was up here and we continue to try and slice it, it's got a tendency to want to fall over and cut your thumb. Just like that. So now the onions are sliced up. We can use these for sauteed onions, for garnish for a steak, pierogies. The onions are now sliced if we want to make fajitas. So that's slicing an onion. So we have the onion with the root still intact this time, stem off, and we're going to start by cutting straight down. Okay, so we've cut straight down on the onion. We put in our lines. Next, we're going to come back with our knife and just cut almost all the way through the onion. Right? Not all the way through. You can see that I've left a little bit towards the tail end of the onion. This is again going to help the onion stay together and keep it nice and safe. I'm going to come back at the top here and again only cut slightly through. So now that the grid, let's call it, is completely in the onion, we're just going to cut straight down. Right. So, nice, diced. But what about this part of the onion that we have that we didn't cut all the way through? So, just like when we were slicing it, we're just going to plop it down on its side there. Cut through, and again, and almost no waste. We've cut almost all the onion. So we're gonna chop some broccoli right now. So I took the broccoli out of my bin on the left, right? Just took off just the root where it's a little bit brown. And we're just gonna slowly cut through and pop florets off. Now, as I'm cutting through, I'm just cutting straight down, and maybe even 3/4 the way through, I'm just giving a slight kind of pop off the head of the floret. By doing that, it's gonna give us a nice floret. We can cut straight down on the floret. We've got to cut through here. If we want it smaller, this is fine, but for nice florets, we're just gonna kind of cut down and pop off. Cut and pop. Okay. So now that all of our broccoli's cut, we've moved left, and we're gonna go all the way to the right. For right-handed peoples, when you're finished cutting, the cut product is on the right-hand side, and we move left to right. So next up, cauliflower, one of my favorite vegetables. So cauliflower comes with a little bit of the plant still attached. So all we're gonna do is take the tip of our knife, and we're gonna pierce straight down and through. And just like the broccoli, we're just gonna kind of twist our knife, and it's gonna pop the stem off the cauliflower. A little bit more there, so it's all off. So just like we did with the broccoli, I'm gonna cut in with my tip, turn my knife, and it's gonna break off in beautiful chunks for us. So these florets of broccoli and cauliflower, they're great for vegetables and dip. You can pack for lunch. They're great to have as a side vegetable with your lunch or dinner. And that's how you'd cut a head of cauliflower. Next up is a carrot. Now, like many round vegetables, the trick with cutting carrots is making sure that they don't roll away on you. So we're just gonna peel our carrot. Then we're gonna take off just a little bit of the root and the stem. And our carrot is now ready to be chopped. So this carrot would be really hard if we were going to cut down through the entire length of the carrot. So what we'll do is we'll cut them down into manageable pieces, just like this. So from this position, we can either take the carrot and cut it into batonets or carrot sticks, if you will. And again, these would be great for just a quick little snack, or we can go one cut further and dice it up. So diced up carrot, great like this for soups and stews. If we wanted to, we could cut the vegetable a little bit different for a side vegetable, something to go in with a medley of vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower. Two different sizes here, you can see. One a little bit smaller, one a little bit larger. We could blanch these off, steam them, roast them, however we'd like to prepare them. Next up, green pepper. So this applies to any pepper, obviously, because the only difference is the color. We're gonna cut them in half and expose the seeds and the pith. We're just gonna take our hands, reach inside, pull the seeds out, and pull off the stem. And go in here with your knife. Just cut out some of the white pith. And our pepper is ready to be cut. So if we wanted to, we could just cut straight through and slice it. This would be great for a stir fry or fajitas. Or we cut a little bit wider and then again just dice it just like that. So here's a tomato. We're going to slice the tomato for a sandwich. So we're just going to take off just the tip, just the stem right there, and we're just going to slice down. Tomatoes you want to keep out at room temperature as long as possible. Refrigerate any cut tomatoes or fruit that's starting to get overly ripe. But for maximum flavor, try and keep your tomatoes out at room temperature before you cut them, and they taste delicious. So I've sliced some tomatoes. Now to dice the tomato. So just like we've been doing, I'll just let the tomato flop over onto its big flat cut side. I'm going to cut through, and again it's nice and stable. So now I can just continue cutting through. And here's 2 different ways to cut a tomato. Here we got some lovely garlic. It's grown here on campus at the organic farm. This grows 924 meters away from our main kitchen, so it's really great. Ultra local product, tastes delicious, and it's certified organic. So for a lot of people, this is a little bit tricky. So if you don't buy your garlic peeled already, and you need to peel it yourself, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take off the stem first, flip it over, and cut through the root side now. And it's gonna expose a cut side of the garlic. We can now just use our hands to break the cloves off. And now to peel it, we're just going to lay a clove down, take the flat side of our knife and put it on top, and very carefully hit it as hard as we can. So when we break it like this, now we're just able to go in and peel. Now we've got a nice head of garlic ready to be chopped up. So to mince a clove, again, we're just going to take the flat side of our knife and we're just going to crush the garlic nice and flat. So this is really going to help us. Now that it's nice and flat, we're going to take our hand, right, using our claw technique that we talked about earlier. We're going to wrap our thumb behind, hand right up against our fingers. We're just going to slice through. When you're doing this claw technique, you have to make sure that you watch your thumb. If you're not moving your thumb back with the product that you're mincing, you have a tendency to kind of leave it out there and come down and cut the tip of your finger. Right? And just like that, you've got garlic minced up. So we can use this for pasta, soups, stews. We can chop up a little bit of garlic and add it to sauteed vegetables for a lot of extra flavor. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like always, check out the description below for recipes and links. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And remember to hit the subscribe button and the notification button and to get any of our future videos. Until then, please stay safe and eat well.